At some point, you pick up your own marker and you start tagging your name. What name do you first write? Do you remember?
I think the first name I had like 10 names in like 10 days kind of shit. Like, I want to say the first name ever was like Doc. Like Doc, like, no, the first name ever I think was, no, it was Doc. It was Doc. For us, the first name ever was Doc.
How do you choose that name? Why that one?
I seriously think it had some shit to do with like Bugs Bunny. Like, yo, what up, Doc? Yo, tell me, yo, Doc, like, yo, Doc. Or, oh, no, you know what I know what to do with? The Doc, the Formula, the album, the DOC. I think that's what it was. I really dug that album when he dropped that shit. That was around the time, like 89, 90, number 89 or something. Like, yeah, that was in the time, yeah. So the DOC, the Formula, the album, the N.A. Beware artist. It was just the diggy Doc, y'all. Like, it sounded dope. I mean, it wasn't anything dope. I'm a little kid and just, I like this music, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I could have easily wrote Cardi today, you know, if I was a little girl doing it. It was just what was on the radio and what, like, caught my ear, you know what I'm saying? No real relevance to it.
Why do you stop writing Doc? Does anything happen?
I think someone told me, like, probably Chic or Bass or one of the guys, like the older dudes, I was like, hey, you can't write that. Like, there's a graffiti crew. Like, I just want to know what a fucking crew is. I'm just like, we all just write names. And like, it's not, I'll go like, I'm still young. He's like, you can't write that because there's already a crew called DOC. I'm like, okay, whatever crew is, yeah, but I can't write this. Then I think I tried to write like A's or something for like 2 days, and they're like, you can't write that, because this is like when CBS was like doing the whole Melrose shit in the 90s. Like, there's a guy who writes Az, and I met Az soon later in life, but he wrote Az back then. Like, well, you can't write that. And then for a little while, I think I wrote Icer. I think Icer was like, yeah, Icer was like the next one, like ICER. And I actually like that name, you know. Shout out to the Ice Motiar too, good man. But yeah, it's a dope name. It is a dope name, Icer. And I think that had something to do with around the time of like Vanilla Ice shit or something. Or like, I think I was writing Icer before that, because when it came out, fools would just clown and like sing that song and shit. But then it went from Icer to Jazer, and Jazer 101. And then you see where that went, you know? You
mentioned an old crew from Los Angeles, the DOC crew.
DOCs, yeah.
Did you ever meet any of those members?
At that time, remember, I'm like 10 years old, 11 years old. Like, I'm a little kid. I'm like the 6th grade, 11, you know, like 6th grade, you know, whatever that math makes me, you know, like young, like 5th grade. Like, so nah, not at all.
Do you meet them later on in your career?
Yeah, later. I mean, I got friends now that are from DOC that I see all the time. But
can you name a couple of the original DOC members, if you remember?
Like Odio and Oami, I'll say his name, IOMI. Gammo, like those Sonic from DOC, those a couple of them back then. There's a lot of them. There's more Fivo. There's more that I'm like brain farting on. But yeah, Fivo. There's a lot more. I just remember all those guys were like skaters. I just always remember that. Those big skate crew, they all skaters and they all skate. Those are the DOCs, the skaters. I'm like, oh, okay. Those guys are dope skaters and they can do graffiti. Well, I'm gonna learn the graffiti thing, I guess, you know?
Definitely. DOC legendary crew.
Shout out to DOC crew, my people. Or a 2-week run or whatever. All these names, mind you, don't think these like I went out rocking. These are like, I'm saying, these are like my first names. All these names went through a cycle of like probably like 90 days. Like, you know what I'm saying, to figure all this out. Like, it wasn't like I had a career, but you'd never see any of these names. Oh, I think I saw it up back in the day. You didn't, it wasn't me. And if it's up now, it ain't me. So just make that clear now. I never did shit with any of those names, which is hence why most people never heard of them. Quick break.
After writing Doc and Icer, you come about writing Jazer, 101er. Can you talk about how you first start writing that name? Where does it come from?
I think a failure of the whole A's thing or Azzer thing. And like, I like those it sounds cool. It sounds like taser and phaser. And it was like, I'm still a kid. Shit, it's like, I have no sense or logic, rhyme or reason why I do anything at that point. It just sounded nice. It could be anything, you know?
You eventually drop the Jazer part and stick with 101er. What leads to that decision?
Wouldn't it be cool if instead of writing a name, like I wrote a number, like, oh, like the freeway, look, 101, LA, like, I don't know. There was very few people in the city at the time who really even had numbers. The only number, to this day, I mean, how many people really write numbers to this day? There's like a handful of them, and it was catchy. There was no, like I said, no rhyme or reason to it, just switch it up.